So our next speaker is Dan, and I just asked how to pronounce his name, Dan Alchin, hopefully, who is from Energy UK. And he's going to be talking about the role of the private sector. So we've heard about local government, we've heard about community sector. Now we're going to be hearing about the role of the private sector in making change happen. Hand over.
Morning, everyone. Just to start things off, I'm Dan from Energy UK. Energy UK, for those of you who aren't familiar with us, are an organisation that represents electricity and gas suppliers, so the companies that sell you gas and electricity for your homes, British Gas, EDF, Octopus Energy and the like. And we also represent electricity generators, so the owners and the operators of wind farms, solar farms and power stations. Here today to talk about the role of the private sector, so the role of businesses. Probably come as no surprise that I think businesses are going to have a crucial role to play and are going to be fundamental if we're going to successfully reach net zero and decarbonise our homes. Broadly speaking, when I say business, and what do I mean and what do I expect of businesses to play in this transition? Well, I think there's four big roles that businesses are going to have. I think, like today, businesses are going to be the ones that are developing, installing, and selling to everyone the technologies they need.
Could you just speak a little bit louder or into the mic?
Oh, fine, sorry. So, like today, I think businesses are going to be the ones selling, manufacturing, and installing the products and services we need to improve our homes. And again, like today, when it comes to things like boilers, they're going to be ones servicing and repairing them as well. Looking further into the future, also going to be a key role for businesses in helping us finance those improvements through loans, new types of mortgages, helping people and householders meet the upfront costs of installing products and services that will reduce their emissions. And then finally, I think business is going to be at the forefront of delivering innovation. They always are. Look at the mobile phones in our pockets today and compare that to the mobile phone of 20 years ago. That's businesses innovating and improving technology because customers demand it. And there's going to be a role for businesses in that when we look at how we decarbonise our homes. I've got up on the screen there a Nest thermostat. That's a smart thermostat, controls the temperature of your home and the level of heat that your boiler is producing. That's one that you can control from your phone and learns based on what you tell it over time so that it can heat your homes in a more effective way. It's an example of innovation that businesses are delivering. And I think it's important to note in that regard that this is not a new space for businesses. Businesses have been active trying to help people improve their homes for 20, 30 years now, and we've actually already done a lot. Eco was mentioned by Jonathan in the previous presentation. Well, under that scheme, we've seen energy suppliers, so the likes of British Gas and OVO, improve over 2 million homes since 2013 by installing energy efficiency measures like insulation and new boilers. Every year, we also replace over a million boilers in homes across the country. That's 100,000 gas engineers going into people's homes and conducting work. Since 2014, we've also seen 100,000 new renewable heating installations installed. This is private sector businesses doing work in people's homes to help them reduce their carbon emissions. And it's all contributing to a growing number of people working in a low carbon economy. And that's ordinary tradespeople, like your builders and your plumbers and your gas engineers. I want to talk a little bit more about the energy company's obligation, as it was mentioned in the previous presentation. Under that scheme, that's where we've seen energy suppliers improve over 2 million houses since 2013. And a scheme like this has really existed in some form or another since about 1994. There have been laws requiring the largest energy suppliers to install insulation and new boilers in people's homes. The current scheme, ECO, is targeted at helping those people most in need, those people on the lowest incomes living in the poorest quality homes. And the way the scheme works is suppliers have to go out and find people that are in need of support and can need measures being done to their home, and then they fund the installation of those measures and organise their installation. The money for then delivering all of that is then recovered from all of us via our energy bills. On average, I think it costs each household about £24 a year. So £24 of your annual energy bill goes towards delivering this scheme. The challenge with ECO, in my opinion, is that you pay that £24 via your energy bill regardless of your ability to afford it. And the more energy you consume, the higher your energy bill, the likelihood is the more of it goes towards this scheme. Now, the challenge, and what are the issues then that businesses find when they're looking to try and help people on this transition? Well, I think you look at the progress I just talked about, and the majority of it has come about via schemes like ECO, where people have been required, well, where businesses have been required to invest and been required to help and assist people, or it's come through where there have been heavy government incentives that have heavily encouraged them to do so. But when we look at the challenge ahead of us, 28 million homes needing improving, I think it's probably unrealistic to expect government to require or mandate or to fund all of that work to occur. I think the really hard truth of actually reaching net zero and all of us improving our homes is that we're all going to have to reach into our own pockets. If we're serious about tackling this challenge and improving our homes, it's going to require each and every one of us probably to invest our own money in our own homes. And this is the challenge I think businesses really find at the moment when we look at those 4 roles, is there isn't sufficient demand. I think the hard truth of it is at the moment, the majority of people don't want to invest their own money, don't want to invest their own time, and aren't really interested in energy efficiency or changing their heating source to something that is lower carbon. There's a number of reasons for that, some of which I think we've already explored. You know, improvements can be expensive, they can also be disruptive. For 30 years, under programs like ECO, we've been delivering it to people for free. So why would people suddenly want to be willing to pay for it? And equally, unlike a new kitchen or a new bathroom, you improve the efficiency of your home. It doesn't increase the value of your home. It doesn't increase the amount of money you can get if you want to rent it. There isn't a value in it that we recognize. So why make the investment? And then finally, and I think it was touched on yesterday, if you rent your own home like I do, well, I'm not going to invest in my landlord's property, and my landlord's not going to invest in a property where he sees no return or reward for doing so. And all of that makes it a challenging environment for business to fulfill its four roles. There isn't the demand for the products and services they want to sell. Luckily, however, those challenges aren't unique to the United Kingdom. They're common across a whole host of countries. And other countries, we can look at Germany, we can look at France, the Netherlands, much closer to home, we can look at Scotland, have actually started to address these challenges and started to build a market and an environment where businesses can help people live in warmer, more comfortable homes. So the question logically becomes, well, what have they done? And I think there's 3 things I want to pull out as recommendations that I think we can take from those countries is how we can start to address this lack of demand challenge. 1, and I know this is quite potentially a brutal thing, I think we're going to need new rules and new regulations around the quality of homes. You know, by the time we reach 2030, 2035, I think we're going to need to be saying to people, if your home doesn't meet a certain efficiency standard or doesn't have the right heating systems, maybe you can't sell it, maybe you can't rent it, because it's no longer fit for purpose. That's very harsh, and therefore I think the experience from other countries also tells us that we need to package that with incentives. We need to also encourage people to take action, you know, carrots to go with the stick. And there's a whole host of things we could do here in terms of subsidies or grants, but also one thing that is often talked about is could we start varying taxes? Could you vary stamp duty or council tax based on the efficiency of a property to reward people for making an investment? And then all alongside this, we need to ensure that good quality work is being installed so people can have faith in it. And then we need national media campaigns to encourage people to act and make sure people are aware. I think if you do those things, you give people a reason to act and a reason to engage and a reason to invest. And in doing so, you give businesses certainty that in those 4 roles I talked about at the beginning, that there'll be a market for them and people will be interested in engaging with them and buying the products and services they're selling. And furthermore, you also create new opportunities and new jobs and more income, and you build a stronger economy overall. Now, of course, before I wrap things up, no matter what, there are always going to be households where no matter what incentives or rules you put in place, who are just not going to have enough money to invest in their own properties. You know, and I think we need to recognise that. And therefore, I think alongside new incentives and rules to encourage those that can afford to improve their own properties to do so, we're going to need government to take action as well, and government to put in place robust and serious programmes of support for those least able to engage and least able to upgrade their own properties. And I see that being a crucial role for government, because otherwise we're going to end up with the people that are least able to afford it, least able to engage, being left in cold, damp homes that are highly polluting. So to just wrap things up, I think business are going to be crucial. I think they have a huge role to play from developing technologies, installing technologies, and engaging with all of us to improve our own homes. But at the moment, we have a problem of demand. People, frankly, aren't interested in what businesses are selling. And that needs to change. We need to find a way to engage people in this debate and take them with us so that and encourage them to invest their own money in improving their own homes. Thank you very much.